Welcome back, everybody, to Champions of the Fog. I am your host, littlerugaard, and joining me today is our one and only Commissioner Giltspire. Giltspire, how are you today, good sir?
Doing pretty well. Cannot complain.
Well,
Very
good.
excited to witness We Overslept versus Remedy.
We Overslept versus Remedy, and I'm finally getting a hang of these names. We Overslept has been here since like the time that I joined comp, like forever ago. Remedy is a bit of a newer name to me, but I've come to see them enough now that like, okay, I see what's going on. And We Overslept has come a long way since I first recognized. Like, they were like, I'm not calling them out here, but they were definitely not one of the better teams when I first met them. And they have come leaps and bounds since I saw them. And so I'm actually really expecting a good match today. I'm really expecting something special today. I don't have the thing of who's killing.
Well, so first off and foremost, we got Remedy killing, and they are bringing the artist, and it's Jazzy to be exact from Remedy. So I'm quite excited. I am quite excited as I personally, I don't know if I'm an artist main at this point or what, but it might as well be. I know enough of the artist to be a lethal weapon. So I'm very excited to see how Jazzy plays, because the only other artist that I've seen in COTF was when I played against them, which I feel like they may have not had a fun time going against me.
Right. Yeah, like again, anyone, like we saw the other day, like if you play Nurse extensively, if you go against Nurse, you know a thing or two about how to play against them. Same like whenever I go against a Trickster, I know how to play against Trickster.
Exactly.
You play Artist, you know how to go against Artist. So, and like I said, I don't think we've seen any other artists than that one. I'm really excited to see how they play Artist. This will be really cool. Maybe they're a little bit of a cracked artist. Maybe, I don't know.
I'm excited one way or another. I'm also very curious to see what add-ons they bring. There are like the stock yellow and brown add-ons that are by far the best, as it gives you additional second to get a hit. But there's also some cheeky plays with like Discordance and Severed Hand, which I really like as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so weird that for some of these killers, like, oh, their best add-ons is, purple and eerie, and for others like their yellow and brown add-ons are perfect.
Yeah.
So,
and we do see those add-ons here on Jazzy on the Azerov's resting place. Now, I want to also talk about Azerov's resting place for a second here.
Is this a 4-gen on this side? Did they corrupt the 3 on the other side? It's a 4-gen on this side?
It looks like it. So
that's disgusting.
The question is, will Jazzy play to one side, or are they going to venture out into that corrupt zone?
I don't know. Okay, the only reason I would ever venture out in the corrupt zone is if you have a chase back here. If you don't have a chase, I'd say defend the fort, but he does have a chase, and he found that I think this is a Kate.
Yeah, this is the Kate. Looks like a life did activate right there, so Kate to gain some additional distance, and a little bit of a mind game there, but will get hit by the pallet. So no hit for Jazzy, and they are going really far into this corrupt zone. I'm really surprised.
Ooh, they doubled back there to miss those crows. Where did they go? Kate?
I mean, she's just doing a fantastic job utilizing that tile and just keeping to those corners, so great job there. And honestly, I'm starting to get a bit concerned with how long this chase is taking out here in the scrub zone, unless they're going to dedicate themselves here and not on Shaq's side.
Oh, I think they just misplayed right there. I think they thought their power was off cooldown, and they sent it out instead.
You can do that to try and reduce the amount of time, and we see something here where Kate literally was not able to do anything. That tile was blocked off by the Dire Crow, and so unless you're able to bait that out, you are going to go down.
Yeah, pretty good job. Yeah, you have the eminence of artists on some of these tiles. I'm beginning to wonder if that was the reason they picked. Oh, that's a Scourgehook, isn't it?
That is indeed Scourgehook, as we did hear the ace scream off in the distance. So now the question is what Jazzy will do here with that information, as they do shoot off some crows, but none hit. One thing a lot of survivors miss out on, in the artist specifically, is the fact you can see the aura while they're in flight.
Right, you get a little bit of notice before they actually come to hit you, so you can dodge them. Oh my gosh, you could line up those 2 gens right there and hit both of them. That's kind of cute. Okay. That might actually, I'm wondering if that was the reason they picked the artist here, is that I bet the artist actually has a really good job of holding down a 3-gen on the side. That might be why they picked it.
I mean, definitely would make sense. I don't know. I think ARP had to go, oh yes, Bubba. Like, I think anything like ARP, like Suffocation Pit, like Bubba is definitely a good pick, but I'm really surprised that they let Jonah get the unhook. Like, it was uncontested.
They might be able to get it down here, though. That might be just a trade. Yeah, this is a free trade here. She can get the down on Jonah and still go after this Kate even after all that. That's actually kind of insane.
Yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you're able to get that swarm, and then with those add-ons have that additional second of time to work with you. We see Jazzy firing off the shotgun here, and if Kate goes into that zone, she will get downed, or if she doesn't, she'll get downed anyways, so it's a bit of a lose-lose scenario, to say the least.
That's probably why they let it. They knew that it was going to be inevitable down for Jonah, the unhooker, and then you just tunnel out this other person. Someone had to go pick them up. That wasn't an unbreakable, I don't think. That was more than 20 seconds. So they had to get someone to pull off a gen just to come back and get them. And they still have this 3-gen, and now they're hooked even deeper into the 3-gen.
Yeah, so maybe that was the right play in the long run. I still, I was like, okay, you could just contest it, move in the second stage, but hey, if it works, it works. And we do see the Cheryl here trying to bait out another chase. But we see what I think to be Jonah once again going for that unhook.
Very ballsy. Oh, to be fair, they didn't get crowed that time, so this isn't going to be just free. They wait out the bar time. They take the... oh, they have light. They have light. Oh, that's a great idea to block it off. They lunge just to get the block on it, but still not quite enough to get the borrow time to run out. And yeah, Jonah coming with the body block, very important there. I imagine Kate's got... Yeah, look at how much distance she got from that live. That was very much needed. Jonah did a good job there, and so I think Kate's going to be able to get the safety, so no tunnel here for the artist. But they are going to get it down on Jonah.
Yeah, these Survivors definitely in a bit of a dangerous spot here between these Scourge Hooks, one of them being in that 3-gen. And maybe that is why they chose that side, is maybe their Scourge Hooks are all over here.
Oh yeah, we don't get to see the Scourge Hook all right here, do we? So yeah, that's a very good point. That's a very, very good point.
So based on that, we know that there are 2 Scourge Hooks here on main side. So that very much could be the reason, as if they just get down in their 3-gen, there's going to go Scourge Hook after Scourge Hook after Scourge Hook. And I'm shocked that Jazzy did not see that Survivor behind that tire pile. I thought he was going to swing for it, but Cheryl does pop on out, and Jazzy did get a bit of a peek.
Yeah, and I honestly, back to what before, I didn't realize how much the progress was on this gen right here. That's actually getting insane. And Cheryl could get, okay, Cheryl just got the crows, never mind. I thought they might take it down here, but they didn't have to go through the pallet. Not a direct shot, so they are gonna go down regardless. Okay, that was an unhook. So that is a second wind on Jonah. That's not a deliverance.
That would be correct, and we do see the artist going back to that Scourge Hook, and they'll see what the most progressed gen is, and sure enough, it will get popped for another 15%.
Oh, man.
And so,
good Scourge Hook value.
Yeah, this is the thing about Scourge Hook, is if you're not able to take the killer away from the Scourge Hook area, you're in a world of hurt. And so if you're just doing those one-for-one trades, it punishes those type of plays.
Right, and honestly, we were talking about this a little bit before the stream even started, is we were surprised we don't actually see that many Scourge Hooks, but it's maybe because the strategy is not to play in a Scourge Hook, but they are definitely playing into the Scourge Hook game here. Because actually, when you think about it, there's probably only 1 or 2 hooks in the center of this map. And so if you get a good, and obviously you have a 3-gen regardless on one side or another, you just pick whatever side has the most Scourge Hooks, and yeah, you just hold down that area. And I think that's exactly what we're doing here.
And it makes a ton of sense, and that's one of the things about Scourge Hooks. They are so RNG dependent, so they did get really lucky here to at least have 2 Scourge Hooks that we are aware of. There could be a 3rd or 4th here on main side, hence the decision to go here. But for right now, we're seeing the damage that Scourge Hooks can do, and I think that's at least 3 Scourge Hooks now. We have the one there in middle, we have the one towards the bus, and I think there's one more here as well, so potentially 3 Scourge Hooks that the artist here has access to.
Oh, and K vaulting right into the artist's hands there. However, they are going to get away with the live. And this Kate has to be careful. She is Death Hook, and I think this is actually just what the artist wanted. It was a dead survivor about to come back, because they've hooked every other survivor now, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. So, actually, no, the only person they have not hooked, if I'm taking a look, there's 1 survivor. I think it might be the Cheryl.
Okay, I thought they had hooked the Cheryl by now. I may have looked at that wrong, though. Okay, that... Yeah, they've got a lot of hook states for not a lot of gens. No, they did just pop a gen there, though. If I read that correctly. That is 3rd gen down?
Yep, that is 3rd gen down, and we do see that Kate down as well. Looks like they're maybe keeping the gen on far side 99, which is a bit of counterplay, right? To where you can keep a gen 99 and have Scourge Hook hit that, you tap it, you know, keep it topped off, and just keep having Scourge Hook hit there instead, which I think is what we just heard. as none of the 3 gen over here got hit.
Right, hold on. We're going to see the double tap tech here?
No, looks like they fired it off a little bit too early.
That would have been really cool to see the double hit tech work. But however, 8 is dead, and that strat works only really well if you got 4 survivors. And I don't know how they're gonna get this 3rd gen over here out. Or I should say, one of the 3 gens out of the game.
Yeah, I think their best bet, honestly, is to pop that last gen on this side just for the sake of getting points. Yeah. Unless you're able to drag out this chase here, but that Dead Hard ain't going to do that. And so Jonah will end up going down.
For sure, and I was just admiring the fact that he Dead Harded through that and missed the hit. But yeah, I think this is Death Hook now for Jonah, isn't it?
I do believe so. No, there's one more. There is one more.
All right, so who is... Yeah, so they have hook ship. Okay. Ooh, where do they... Oh, they're on that gen over there. Okay. All right, all right. How progressed is this gen?
Sounds...
Not very much.
Like halfway, more or less, I would guess.
Did they cleanse the crows right at the last second and reapply them?
No. Oh, yeah, so I think they did. You're right. They cleansed right before the vault, and then they got reapplied. And then, as we see here, the down.
Man, this killer feels so inevitable if you're not running down the center of the map. It feels just so... It feels so bad. This killer is pretty rough on these tiles, and that, again, that just speaks to the strength of this killer on this map. Really good choice of killer, I think.
Yeah, I mean, overall, they've been quite literally killing it, and we do see 2 sets of crows going off. I see what they're trying for there to try and get the injure. You need a little bit more distance as they have a bit of iframes after they get hit by the first set of dire crows.
Oh, they do? Okay.
Not like full iframes, but iframes from crows, so you can't just double it up like in some other scenarios.
Gotcha. Okay, that's good stuff. Yeah, the crows have... For lack of a better term, they have a ton of text on the Wikipedia.
Oh yeah,
I'm glad our resident artist made it here to break some of these things down for us.
Yeah, from the time it takes to repel the swarm, from the distance you need in order to get an injure from afar. There's so much to pay attention to, and we see one thing the artist can do here, which is to pressure 2 survivors at the same time. We see them going after this Jonah here, but also trying to pressure that gen all the while. Getting a little bit tripped up, though, on this tile, and Jonah is going to try and leave it, but I don't think it's going to matter in the end.
Yep, and I think they're going for what you said a moment ago, where they're going to try and just get that gen done just for the extra points, but it might be too little too late. I don't know if Ace can finish this gen.
And I
think they're going for the unhook now? Yeah,
I think they may have realized that as well and are deciding to go for the unhook. So
will they get there in time?
That's a good question. They only have less than a few seconds left, but it does not look like fast enough.
Unless the Ace went and hit somewhere else. I don't know where the Ace would go now. Oh wait, no, Jonah's death hook. Yeah, but they chased on Jack's side, so she gets the hook and the... Wait, okay, I guess what did the exit gate spread look like? If the exit gates are on opposite sides of the map, you have to be wary of Survivor getting through the exit gate here, but yeah, no, the fact that Jonah chased to the shack side is definitely not good for the survivors. They don't get the easy hatch play.
Yeah.
Actually, the exit gates are on the other side of the map, aren't they?
It looks like it, so I think there is a very real possibility that if, in instance, the artist decides to hook Jonah here, that the Ace could potentially make for an escape.
Yeah, that might have been the play. Like, hey, we can at least get some escape points. We don't get the gen point, we get the escape point, deny the hook points for the killer here. And yeah, so they have to go pick shack close. I guess you try and figure out where the exit gates are and try and hit a crow on it. Like, no, they're going for the gens? You're not going to get the hatch in time. Okay. Well,
I mean, I will mention in this scenario, the gen is actually worth more than the escape.
True, but the way that that gen with the artist teasing the entire time, there's no way you're going to get it.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
But this Ace is not out of their exit gate, are they? Oh, they are on this exit gate, but it's not enough.
Maybe if Wake Up, though. You don't get interrupted with that crow, so there is a possibility they might just barely get it. They get hit, and unfortunately, no dice.
Oh, that was close, though. If they had gone to the other exit gate, I think they would have got it, because it was a little bit further off.
I think you are right there. May have just been a little bit hesitant when they fired off that crow and just did not have enough time.
Yeah, that was really, really close. I think good call from the survivors is when they realized they weren't able to get enough progress on that gen, send them to the other side of the map and try and do a play there. But it didn't end up working out for them. Really good try. Really good try. Really strong artist play. This is really powerful. Wow. Wait, did they have pop goes? Did they ever pop a gen?
I don't think they actually did. I'm pretty sure Ruin got cleansed almost immediately. Scourgehook did the rest of the legwork. And then Pop just really didn't do much because survivors were not tapping gens after Scourgehook.
I think the Pop might have been a bit of how would you say, contingency plan. Should either the Scourgehooks like all be in the center and not very, very good for your 3 or 4 gen, or if they had gotten to that 3 gen scenario and it wasn't a 3v1. If you had a 4v1 and you're in that 3 gen scenario, then you're gonna get some serious pop value because you blow up a gen, you go and kick it again because they try and tap it. I think that might have been it. I don't know. That was some really strong artist play. Artist is really good on that map potentially. This is the first time I've seen it, so I only have one thing to choose from here, but I don't know. What as an artist, man, how did you feel about that game?
No, overall, really good. There's a few things that I would do differently. For one, I personally just hate using multiple crows unless it's for that shotgun because the cooldown timer is just so significant. But beside that small little detail where they would send 3 crows out for info, I think they did amazing. So it was really good usage of the power. Maybe a few different things as far as angles on the tiles to like lock down certain plays. But other than that, I mean, they did what Artist does, and it forces survivors to hold W for dear life.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, that's the one thing that I was surprised is that little choke point in the center is the W zone, and it's strong. Like, if you're an artist, I don't know how you're going to get downs in that center area. There is just so much, you could just keep going because there's so much line of sight blockage. But the artist really didn't commit to anything over there. Like, I think the only time they ever committed was to the Jonah, and it was already a 3v1, which was a 2v1 because someone was on hook, and you were fine to commit to that. So I think they had a game plan. They stuck to it. I'm guessing that was their game plan. Stick to a side with the 3 gen, which, I mean, that's that strategy there anyway. But yeah, bring Scourgehook, stick to the side with the most Scourgehooks, and I mean, if there's 3 Scourgehooks on that side, that's pretty insane. That's some pretty cracked RNG.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's for the better, but also for, you know, to the detriment of the use of Scourgehook. I know that I use it on a lot of my killers at this point in pubs, and then I get moments like freaking RPD, and I go, well, I'm not going to get a single Scourgehook this game.
Yup, the RNG of that. The hook placement, actually, it's funny you mentioned that. So last night, after we got done with Champions of the Fog, like an hour or two later, we had them on Champions. What was it, last week? Junico invited me on their stream to teach them how to play Trickster a little bit, and we got a game where the survivors brought the RPD offering, and they did that really dumb tactic where they go to the top part of the library, and we're just teabagging there with crows over their head, waiting for them to come up. And they had Unbreakable Soul Guard and Boil Over and Flip Flop. And they're like, ha, you're never going to hook us because we're in the second story. I was like, slug them out and let them wait for 4 minutes.
Yep.
And that's what we did.
Yep. No.
The hook RNG on that map is hot trash.
Well, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again. They need to, spawn a static hook up there on the top of library, much like what they used to do for Thompson House. And they do need to re-add the static hook to Thompson House, mind you. But they also need to just, like, change the position of one of the vaults and just have it be an open window, basically. Maybe
that's true.
Like, something to that degree to deter that style of play. Because, yeah, I've seen that before, and then I had, like, a Fang Min do that. I'm like, cool, you're gonna bleed out now. And so I just slugged you. The other survivors could not figure out how to get to the top floor library, and so she sat there for 4 minutes and bled out.
Well, that's the thing. They went from the beginning of the game. I heard like notifications like, what on earth is going up there? And both of them had sat up there with 3 crows while they were going around killing the other 2. They just sat up there with crows the entire time teabagging. So, I don't know. I ultimately, they just reported them for not playing the game as intended.
Yeah.
I think that's about all you can do, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're not cheating. They're not exploiting. They're just taking advantage of a really stupid version of the game's RNG and not playing it like a normal human being.
Yeah, and I just realized, you know what really sucks? One of the part of solutions to RPD will not work soon. Because other than a static hook, great. You want to know what sucks?
Boil over.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. It's like, it doesn't even matter if they make that vault just an open area where you can drop down and get to a hook. Boil over.
Well, if you have a static hook on inside that library, even if it's in the corner or something, as long as it's not a situation where, if you can just pick them up immediately so they don't get flip-flopped to get value back up, that 25% drop isn't going to be enough to, like, when they're 4 seconds away from the hook.
But if that's the only hook there and there's 2 survivors, you can't get the second one.
True, but who's going to come for that unhook?
Fair.
Enjoy your time on the ground. I got time. 4 minutes to be exact.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I controversial opinion, I actually love RPD. As a survivor, I enjoy playing it because I know how to map it out, and as a killer, I still enjoy it.
Okay, I was about to say, as a caveat, you said as a survivor. I was like, yeah, as a survivor. But yeah, if you're a stealth killer, yeah, that game that can be fun. It's fun for stealth killer. If you're Pig and you want to be an absolute, jerk, yeah, that game can be fun. But I really hope they cut it into 2 or 3 different maps, kind of like Badham. Just chop it up a little bit, it'd be fine. I don't know how they do it, but like keep the center area for like going up and down, keep the staircase so you have multiple access points, but that map is far too unreasonably big for its own good. Like that map is stupid big.
There are specific killers.
They said Mother's Dwelling. We're getting reworks on Mother's Dwelling finally.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Thank goodness. I know that like all the crap in the Q&A people talk about, at least we have something there. Mother's Dwelling has needed something to trim. Like, even if they just take, like, a little off the edges and just push the map in towards the center, that's fine. I would love if they reworked the center building, because the center building's atrocious.
Well, it depends on the window spawn. But I think,
that's true.
depending... I think, overall, basic fact should be, no DVD map should be larger than 156 square tiles. I think that's a reasonable size to where every killer can still play on it and not feel disenfranchised. Like, for example, I love RPD, even as killer, but if I'm playing The Hag, for example, I go, well, I'm just going to sit and cry in a corner.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if I don't have Trick Blades, that map is impossible. But, I mean, to be fair, even then, like, you're still a 110. There's still, like, a lot. That map is highly unfortunate.
It is, but I will say, I feel like it's also so nuanced to where, like, most survivors that I play against don't know how to run the map. Because,
that's true.
like,
a majority aren't going to take the time to learn it.
Yeah, it's just, like, I love it because it is a very intricate map with a lot of different play styles. And even, like, Mother's Dwelling doesn't have that, or Disturbed Ward doesn't have that, where, like, you can think about it a little bit more as a killer or as a survivor and get more value out of it. But, RPD, I feel like, okay, cool, I can think about this for a second. Oh, I can get around this God Palette. It's not as good as if it wasn't there, but it's still, workable to where I can then follow up with a hit.
Right. And that's the other thing, too, is there are a lot of God Palettes on that map.
Let's see.
Not as many as the game now, granted, but...
I don't know about that, because let's see. There's 1 second floor bathrooms. There's 1 first floor bathrooms behind the metal stairs. There is the one with the long desk, so that's 3 right there alone. Then
you've got the one on that hallway by the long desk, like you talked about.
Yep. Yeah, there's one by the hallway there. Then there's the one upstairs, second floor, by the laundry room. So that's 5.
Are like all the God Palettes on like one side of the map? Practically,
yes.
anyway.
Yes, actually.
Oh, man.
Basically.
That's actually pretty funny. That's actually pretty funny that one side is just genuinely stronger than the other. So if they
Yeah.
do split into 2 different sections, one side's gonna be insane.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, there's 5 god palettes. I mean, there's some nasty ones in the game too, to be fair.
Yeah, but the thing with the game is that it's more RNG, so there's a chance that some god palettes will spawn. There's always those 2 static god palettes by basement and bathrooms, but other than that, the other ones are hit or miss, because sometimes, there's been a god palette that spawned right next to those 2, where instead of like going into a normal tile, like some kind of LT or whatever version of that on the game, you'll spawn, and there's just another one of those god palettes where if you don't break it, you have to walk like all a massive circle around there, so sometimes you get the 3 god palette basement. I don't know. It's fine, but the bigger thing with the game, I guess, is that it's not so much like there's a lot of god palettes on the map, but there's it's just that there's a lot of save palettes. You don't have god palettes, but you get a lot of save palettes.
That's fair. That's fair. You want to know one thing I do like about the game though? It's very interactive, and I feel like survivors miss out on that point with the fact that if you play it right, you open up better loops for you. Because when you do gens, the doors, much like on Hawkins used to, open up, so you can link tiles rather than being, oh, this one pallet's gone, I dead now.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's entirely fair. That's a fair assessment. My biggest thing is that when it's so weird because the top and the bottom floor are such different gameplay too. Because again, it's Trickster. All the top floor loops with pallets, I don't care about. I can see over all of them. All the ones on the bottom, absolutely wreck me.
Fair.
Yeah, it does have a lot of diverse gameplay, but ultimately just the diverse gameplay feels really rough for killers. Yeah, I get that it's a small map still, but if the small map is every single place you go to is relatively safe, it's still a bad time. Especially if you're just a basic 115 killer with no other options. Good luck.
Yeah, pretty much. You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I mean, you play Artist, so artists don't care about that map whatsoever. No. I play Trickster. If I have Trick Blades, I also don't really care about that map either. But for everybody else, like what, Pyramid? You also play Pyramid Head. Pyramid doesn't care about the map.
No.
Nurse doesn't care about that map. So
unless you do what I do, which is look too far down and you blink down instead of like pain.
But see, there's the rare opportunity where you can look back up and jump back to the top and just spook them.
This is true. This is true.
That does happen occasionally, which is really funny. They're like, they blinked down, and you're like, oh, they're back on me. It's good stuff.
And
anyway,
indeed is.
We have another match. We have like the next one coming up. We were just we went off on a diatribe. We went from Artist all the way to the RPD in the game, but we're not seeing Artist again. This time it's Plague.
It is the Vommy Mommy herself from
This is gonna get
Overslept.
So grindy. This is gonna be so grindy. You got Azerov's resting place with Plague, which I would say is potentially the ultimate 3-gen holder with the Natophobia.
I would say Twins. Plague. ARP Twins is a nightmare and usually results in matches going 20 to 30 minutes long.
I guess I can kind of see it, but whereas the Twins have the ultimate cat and mouse like hold down style, Plague has the ultimate slowdown style.
True. Depends if they use the brown add-ons too.
And they're never resetting. Because the counterplay to Twins, you just go to the other side and reset. You can't do that against Plague. You have to eventually cleanse where they are. Which means you either give her power at long last by you cleansing the last fountain over there, or you're constantly giving her power. I think Plague's a really cool pick here. I want to see how this game goes.
This is, you know what? If they get good RNG, you're right. This could be a bit nasty. Just vomit on the gens, 80 seconds at a time. Yeah, this could be a bit grindy.
I gotta see their add-ons. I want to see how they plan for this game. They're like the add-ons, like.
Ooh,
okay,
not what I expected.
Infection time, right?
Yeah, that is infection. So that is the amount that you need to infect survivors. That is not increased infection time, however.
Oh, okay. Interesting. Okay.
So it takes less for them to be infected when you vomit on them. So they're going for the break gameplay here.
I respect it. Okay. Yeah, we have Corrupt. I don't want to spoil perks, but I mean, there's not a plague in the world that doesn't like Thanatophobia here.
I mean, that and Spires we'll find out quite soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, like there's no chance. If I ever see a plague without Thanatophobia, I question what they're doing. So they are protecting this totem here, which, if I'm a plague, okay. So my personal build for plague would be again a Scourge Hook, because I think Scourge Hook's good.
Oh, especially after what we saw last game, you'd think Scourge Hook's a no-brainer if you get a Scourge Hook in your 3-gen.
Okay, Jazzy getting infected, and that tells the plague that, hey, someone's tickling my totem. However, I don't think you get back here in time.
No, I think it is going to be more than 14 seconds, so I think that this totem might just be out. And we do see scratch marks there, and there goes the totem as expected. And Jazzy probably is going to be pretty close to being infected here, as you do get infected more now for interacting with infected objects.
Right, yeah, increase the Vile Purge effectiveness by 30%, and increase the Vile Purge effectiveness by 40%. So, yeah, these survivors are going to be insta-infected, which is pretty sweet. Yeah, and there we go, we see them getting infected.
And so at this point, as far as are well aware of both Corrupt Intervention and Thanatophobia at this point in time, but Jazzy, just holding W for dear life, goes over to the style and will drop it on the plague.
I mean, that's what you do, right? If you do not, like, that's the thing I'm saying, they don't have an apple, so they only have one Corrupt Purge they can ever drink from.
Yep.
And I'm curious to see when they burn that resource, but if you have the Thanatophobia in play, are the survivors going to just play through a 20% slowdown, or are they going to end up cleansing? Obviously, you cleanse at the end of the game. Like, look at how quickly these guys are getting infected.
And Plague doesn't lose a lot of distance outside of that life right there, as she now just stays right on top of you with the buff that she received.
True, and a little bit of mind games. I think that, yeah, I was about to say the Dwight just probably left, and they did.
And Plague just doing a little bit of a dance for us, that's all.
Yeah. All right, well, they do get, I imagine this pallet's going to get dropped here. Is there a pallet? Yeah, oh, wait. Oh, she thought the window was there, not the back window. Okay, they got a little bit confused there. Ooh, Firecracker Plague getting some value. Though, imagine they are pretty loud to this Plague. Okay, so Corrupt is gone. This region is now open. Is this where the grind starts? They need to get a hook. Yeah, I don't know if you trade your Corrupt for a hook state right now, but you need a hook ASAP.
Yeah, I think if they don't get it down here at this LT, well, they are going to be in a world of hurt, to say the least. And I think they're back on Jazzy once again.
Jazzy using the LT here quite effectively so far. I'm wondering if we're going to get into Bloodlust, or no, they're stringing this to the long wall here. This is a really, oh my goodness, good fake out there. This is a really good set of tiles for looping back and forth, even if you don't have a pallet here anymore. Yeah, and you have this pallet on this side too. Oh, that's disgusting.
I was about to say,
strong place.
They are doing a fantastic job linking these tiles together, knowing full well that that pallet was already gone and linking it to another instead, and now going on to Mini Shack, or Pseudo Shack as I like to call it. And this chase is just going and going and going.
Yeah, Jazzy, a little bit of an Energizer buddy here, even with Bloodlust. Oh, my mistake. You're about to get Bloodlust too. I'd just take the Bloodlust too and just down him at this point. Oh man, and that's another gen done. However, this 3-gen to this moment, I don't think they've gotten rid of the 3-gen just yet. And there's the Dead Hard to make the distance for the last pellet. My goodness. He juiced so much out of nothing back there. There was one pallet he used.
Now the real problem is this 3-gen still exists, and now a lot of these resources are all but gone. So the question then remains, will these survivors be able to survive the slog that is going to be this 3-gen?
That's a very good point. And just as you say that, we have their first down. So the first hook incoming here. I'm curious if they brought a Scourge Hook to play or not. I feel like a Scourge Hook would be fantastic here.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I said, if we see similar RNG to what the artist had, then Scourge Hook is just going to do work. But though we did see a noise notification, 'twas not a Scourge Hook.
True, and so, well, okay, it might have not been a Scourge Hook from there. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they didn't get, you wouldn't play with this set. I'm guessing, yeah, that's probably no Scourge Hook. Was that Pop?
That was indeed Pop. So as of this moment, their perks were Thanatophobia, Ruin, Corrupt, and finally Pop goes the Weasel.
Oh, that is nasty. Yeah, they didn't even get to the center before that happened. Okay. Currently 15% slowdown on these survivors. I was about to say, you haven't checked that gen in forever. There was no. Yeah, about to say that's so bad. They never checked that generator.
Nope.
Oh, that feels so bad. They could have used pop on that one instead of one that barely had any progress.
And that's
you gotta drink your power now and hope that you can get something. Oh no.
That's the hard part, right? If you do not pay enough attention to your surroundings, you will get punished for it, and we see that exactly here with the plague. And we did see an infected locker there, so I want to say someone jumped on in with some decisive strike. I want to say that was the Nancy.
That would make the most sense. However, they got that hit. I didn't see the hit. Wow. Okay.
Just got the right angle over that rock, and I think Jazzy gonna be going for the rest of their hook states.
I would imagine so. Oh, was that a cleanse?
That was a cleanse.
However, broken.
Yeah, I was about to say. However, they cleansed off the sickness, but they're still broken from the deliverance.
Oh my goodness! Wait, these exit gates are actually really close together, and there's someone on it. I don't know. I would have been tempted to go up and pressure them. That is such a temptation, though. That corrupt in the center there. I think it's too late to go get it now. As soon as that happened, I might have gone and grabbed it, seeing that exit gate wasn't quite ready yet.
Yeah. At the same time, it does then risk the Atom here getting away. So I think the right move here, just secure that 1K, as we do see these last 3 survivors starting to dip out.
Yeah, I don't blame them. That's so unfortunate. The entire time I'm in the background, I'm thinking that third gen on that side, they haven't checked at all. And we even saw a survivor run from it. It's like, you need to go check that gen, and they didn't. I think if they had popped that gen, this would have turned into that slogfest you were talking about. But instead, they popped the wrong gen. Survivors popped it on their end, and they got a 3 out. Honestly, this was not as nearly as grindy of a game as I was expecting it to be. Unfortunate. Indeed, I like the add-ons, and I like the build. I don't know if I would have taken Ruin. I think I might have taken the Scourge Hook, taken a book from Jazzy, or taken a page from Jazzy's book previous game, but
yeah. Overall, I don't know. I just feel like Ruin, like I said, just does not get you the value that it used to, and because of that, you know, Survivors was cleansing it right away. You saw Plague, you know, hanging out around the Ruin for a little bit, and as soon as they saw Jazzy on it, it was already too late.
Yep. Unfortunate. When I played comp, I played a lot of Plague, so I get that. It's also just very mentally taxing to play Plague, I would say, because whereas the Survivors, they're cat and mousing that at Keenmore, you're in your own head for 20 to 30 minutes trying to grind out a game, so that is a taxing killer to play in comp, so I sympathize with that, but you've got to go check your 3 gen. You can't just assume that 1 gen's not being worked on. You have to constantly check it. Survivors are sneaky.
No doubt, no doubt. But with that being said, Remedy will take set number 1 with 41 points to 18 over We Overslept.
That's a brutal lead going into set 2.
It is indeed, but as you say, set 2, kind of a fresh slate for these teams, as we will be seeing We Overslept with the Nemesis on the Wrecker's Yard.
Be still my heart, there's a Trickster game after this.
There is trial number 4 will be the Tricky Boy.
Oh man, I'm already hyped for this game for it. We haven't got, and I like Nemesis, so this is fantastic. Record, yeah. Actually, Nemesis, oh, that's actually gross. Oh man, Nemesis is probably gonna eat lunch on. That's a super good map for him. The tiles are super simple, and it's all confined. And as soon as you get a basement hook, heaven help the survivors.
At the same time, I'm surprised not to see on Wrecker's Yard more Huntress specifically, as I feel like last season it was nothing but Huntress on Wrecker's Yard because she just punishes those basement hooks like nobody's business.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder if was Huntress banned by this by chance?
It is possible, so they may have looked at the maps and go, nope, first ban Huntress, please.
I wouldn't blame him. I would also probably ban Nurse on this map. It'd be just disgusting playing with Nurse. Yeah, and I would ban Nurse and Huntress, personally, but...
Yeah, that is fair. That is fair. But
I wouldn't mind Blight. Blight, you'd slide off a bunch of the stuff. That wouldn't bother me too much. Spirit would still be good, but it'd be better than facing a Nurse or a Huntress, because yeah, I keep forgetting about that. Yeah, Huntress just has like all the lanes of fire on this map. All right, yeah, okay. I mean, still, like, I think Nemesis is going to do absolutely fine. They're like, they're an inevitability, and the map is relatively small, so you only got so much to work with. Strong tiling can help, but this killer's going to get you eventually. You can't run from Nemesis forever.
I mean, okay, you can try. You can try.
Maybe on Cowshed you can run forever, but...
Oh, yeah. Did you see the statistics from the Q&A? Cowshed is the most survivor-sided map.
Who would have guessed? The map with perfect tiles. Yeah, no shot. Not only is it perfect, but the way they're spaced out, you don't have to use one, then move to the next and use one, then move to the next, use one. You could use one, skip that, go to the next one, and then do it. You can make 2 full laps around that map. That's stupid.
Yep.
No, that's insane. And to be fair, like I get why Midwich, because it's the corridoring and the setup leads itself to, like, it herds survivors on its own.
There's also those rooms that, like, if in an instance, some of those rooms that were not, like, dead zones, they're just those desks, no pallets, no nothing. Because you'll sometimes vault from a pallet room, you get some good distance, and you're going, oh, I'm taking a hit here.
Yeah, the room, the what is it? With just all the desks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, like, if they replace those rooms with something, a pallet, then I'd say it'd probably be a little bit more survivable. But there's only so many resources on that map, and only one god pallet.
Yeah, that's true. Only one god pallet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that. I wouldn't mind seeing a little bit of love given to that map. Like, even as, like you said, we're both killer mains for the most part. It does need something to give survivors a chance. Like, and granted, there are some really cool things you can do as survivors on that map. But you're right, there is a very limited number of resources, and once you're out, you are toast. It's just pray that you get the rooms that are vaulting together. And that's about it. Like, that's probably the strongest loop, which is really sad because it's actually kind of a weak loop.
Yep.
No, that's entirely fair. That's entirely fair. And then, it depends on the RNG and the main courtyard, too. If you don't have you could have 2 gens spawn there or no gens spawn there.
Yep.
And then, isn't it possible also for, like, no hooks to spawn in the courtort, too?
Yes.
That's the other thing that I hate about that, is that there are literally corridors without a single hook. Which is...
Though normally the hooks are, like, pretty close together. So, like, if you get 2 hooks on Midwich side by side, like, okay, I guess I just sit here now.
Yeah, that's true. Like, it is... We always talk about Suffocation Pit being, like, the crown jewel of RNG, but Midwich has some very bizarre configurations, I would say.
I would agree. So definitely will be interesting to see if any quality of life updates do come to maps like Midwich, and obviously maybe a bit of tweaking over to the Cowshed, even though the dev said, no, we're not really focused on quality of life. Like, no, you shush, you dev,
well,
no
that's
talk.
The thing. They've said that. They've said they're fine with Mother's Dwelling. They've said they're fine with Swamp. They've mentioned recently that they're okay with, like, going and touching up these maps. They're touching up Haddonfield. It's a graphical rework, but I would be shocked if they didn't fix some things like House of Pain, Hedges, and other stuff like that.
Yeah,
now,
I mean,
again, my only gripe is I hope they don't screw up the collision, because honestly, the collision, I've said this before, the collision on Haddonfield is perfect. They did a flawless job on the collision of that map.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So we'll have to wait and see. I'm hoping that they definitely do address House of Pain. They did shadow nerf Myers' house at the very least. Like, they never mentioned it at all.
Thank goodness. And it's so funny because I still see survivors. They take the Haddonfield offering and, like, all right, we're running to Myers' house. They just get to that and they're like, oh, it's like
there's no window here.
You're going to the basement, boy. Yeah, it's funny. To be fair, I think survivors have finally caught on to that fact, but it was fun while it lasted.
Fair. But yeah, so it'll definitely be interesting. I think out of, like, if my general pick for what I want to be touched up is absolutely still, like, the legacy maps like Backwater Swamp. Just for the fact that when I get Blight on it, I don't groan in pain, as I just go, well, I'm in slip and slide hell now.
Yeah, exactly. We can hope. And with this new not the Haddonfield update, but with the new Boilover update, I'm gonna DC from Haddonfield offerings. I don't care. I'm not going to Haddonfield again.
Yeah, I mean, if they get
manipulative on that map now.
I guess if they drop down from the top, yeah, 25% guaranteed because you don't have an option otherwise.
With the new level bar, it's at 1 second off if you're good at it, and I guarantee you the amount of boil-over breakout builds that are going to be going to Haddonfield is going to be mind-numbing.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I just don't want to play it. It'll be so boring. It's like, yep, we're going to the second. Oh, you went down. Okay, okay. If this is gonna be a thing from now on, I want a perk that when I hit a survivor with my main ability and they go down, their timer goes down faster and they bleed out faster. Like buff Sloppy Butcher when they're a slug. Like buff the mangled status effect. If they go down with mangled status effect, they bleed out quicker. Give me that. Give me a bleed out perk.
Said no survivor ever.
Hey, just saying. They've messed around with some crazy things. We got Scourge Hooks, for goodness sake. We got Boon Totems. They're okay with introducing new mechanics.
I agree. I'm curious what other Scourge Hooks will exist, but we'll have to wait till March, which ain't that far away, to say the least. So I'm sure we'll get some more info on the ring quite soon. But with that being said,
we're supposed to get a trailer for the Pig Tome soon.
True.
Like, I think this week.
This is true. But before then, Nemesis still has some time to shine here on Wrecker's Yard. And we'll have to wait and see what their strategy is, if they are going to utilize the basement to the fullest or if they are going to be using Scourge Hooks instead.
You say that, I feel like you meant for this segue that people want Scourge Hook for basement.
I have mentioned that, where I feel like sometimes basement should activate Scourge Hook, but I can also see the argument to why that shouldn't be the case.
Yeah, there's just no counterplay. If you could Sabo the basement, maybe, but that's the thing I like about Scourge Hook too. There is a Sabo counterplay that's even more relevant now, which is cool.
That is true, that's true. Hey, maybe we'll see some Sabo Scourge Hooks in comp.
Maybe one day, maybe if Scourge Hook takes off more. But in the meantime, honestly, so the 3 gens kind of spread out for the Corrupt. I feel like these other gens are actually really close together. Like, look at these 3 right here. The one in the hill, the one in the back, and the one next to Shack.
Yeah, and Giltspire is doing a great job jumping right onto those active generators as we speak. And Nemesis trying to get a mind game here around this rock, but Giltspire is not giving any ground.
He's so tall. You can't mind game that as a Nemesis. You're way too tall. They can see you over that rock.
Yeah, it is definitely rough for those tall killers between the Nemesis and the Plague.
Yeah, that was the one that was a previous game, too, that I was talking about. I was like, yeah, Plague, they can see them over the tile as well, so Nemesis is going to have to work, but they are going to slowly whittle out these pallets, because you can't just take hits.
Wait, however, the zombie can.
Yeah, that was planned, though. They used the zombie to get distance from Nemesis, so they didn't take a health state.
I don't know. It's hard to say there. I feel like there's a possibility that the zombie may have just surprised them around that corner.
That's fair. I'm kind of curious now, because that is a tech. Getting hit by the zombie for distance so that Nemesis doesn't get you is definitely a tech. Oh, that was such a good read from the Nemesis getting that hit there.
And a great job so far trying to get those M2s, and they're trying to get that tier 2 early right now, and we do see the likes of Marvin's Blood, so they just need one more hit on this arena, and they will get their tier 2, and there it is.
There you go. Yeah, tier 2 is really, really strong. It's crazy that for Myers, like, oh, I gotta get to tier 2 just to play the game. Nemesis is like, man, I get to tier 2, check out this whip I got.
However, I will say, though I didn't think it to be that significant, the tier 3 buff is not anything to be sneezed about, and great hit there by the Nemesis getting their first down, though we do hear a gen pop off in the distance as well.
Yeah, Corrupt Intervention did just end, and they're going for the basement play. All right.
I don't know if they make this.
That's actually really aggressive. Yeah, I don't know if they make that at all.
Ooh.
Barely. I bet that's not. That's one of the situations where they're screaming, I was 99%.
You do hear this gen here as well, and they're going to end up dry kicking it.
Yeah, that's not pop because and another gen finishing. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Is there a 3 gen left in this map?
It's not looking like it, and I don't think these survivors are going to care about that 0.3% per second on that gen, so I think we're going to see another gen pop off in just a few moments.
It's very possible. Yeah, you can't police that gen. Yeah, that one's gonna pop too. 3 gens almost out of the way already. This is okay. Well, okay. They got 3 gens, but there is a basement hook being defended. Can you get 2 more gens in the time it takes before the survivor dies?
Probably not, given the circumstances and how much progress they probably have on gens.
Wait, why are they not sticking around the basement? Why are they?
I was about to say they opted to go for ace instead, and though they do get the down relatively quickly, they gave up all the time and pressure that they had spent earlier.
Yeah, but I say you wasted 30. You could have defended the gen more and let them get the safe if that's the case. But I guess you got tier 3. You get another basement here. You don't want to do that for too long. Oh my gosh, that zombie was almost being useful there.
What are you talking about? Zombies are always useful. They definitely don't like hugging trees.
How dare you? Oh man. I would have camped him to second state. You don't have anybody dead now. I think now you can get 2 gens done with impunity. Whereas before, you were going to possibly lose a survivor before you could get it. I don't know if that was the play.
I would tend to agree here. And so we are now just going to probably see these survivors get these last 2 generators done slowly but surely. And we hear this one about to pop off and Nancy leaving early to avoid a chase.
Yep. Also, side note, craving Chick-fil-A, it is a Sunday, so they're not open. I thought I should put that. I just now realized that was the name. I was like, oh, cute. I wonder if that was intentional.
Maybe, just maybe. What I feel like isn't, they're once again camping this basement, but I think it's going to be at the cost of these last 2 gens.
Yeah, but I don't know if I agree with this here. Yeah, you get the second stage, but honestly, you could get this last gen done and still even possibly make an attempt here. I guess we haven't seen pop. We've only seen corrupted invention. We haven't seen any other perks so far. I guess it is possible. Like NOED is an issue, so that might be why they're worried about it. But they got the save anyway. Why would I?
Well, they got the save, but they moved the second stage, so that's fine.
Yeah, there's some interesting plays, I guess. I don't know. Oh, good dodge there. Making it look like you're going for the window and then just not going for the window. Oh man, greeting the pallet too. Okay.
And Nemesis doing a little bit of a head shake there, disagreeing. And we do see the no way out as well as the haste stats effect, so they are going to be going for a NOED down, it would seem.
But where is that? Okay, we see Scratch Mark Zombie pointing the way. And this survivor is long gone. Look at how much this thing. However, they are death hook. If they can get this down and get them on a hook, they're dead. And possibly, no, that's Arena. Never mind. They're not even second hook. Wait, they know about NOED now. They hit him with a tentacle.
Yeah, that is true. I think the only killer that can potentially hide NOED is the Plague. And we do hear that totem pop in the distance, so I think they were already well aware of its existence.
Oh, man. Okay, so what's their 4th perk then? What was the, like, they had no way out, NOED, and corrupt intervention. What's the 4th perk here?
Since it actually doesn't matter at this point, we can let you guys know that it was Scourge Hook Pain Residence, but because they were hooking in basement, it didn't matter.
If you know you're going to Breaker's Yard and you're going to play the basement game, I wouldn't have taken Scourge Hook.
I would 110% agree with you. So I think just a foundational mistake there, unfortunately, costing the Nemesis the majority of their hooks.
Yeah, but say between hooking the basement with Scourge Hook and then I feel like there's some things they could learn from this game. There's some issues, but strong 4 out, like the survivors performed flawlessly, I would say.
Oh yeah. I think they definitely capitalize off the mistakes that the Nemesis made by giving up the basement hook, by, not utilizing... Yeah. They didn't utilize their perks to the fullest, not getting a single Scourge Hook pop that entire game. So definitely a little bit of humble pie, I would say, to the Nemesis, going, okay, definitely could have done better that match, and we can definitely use this as an example as to here's what we can do next time.
Okay, so comment from chat I just saw. So the tentacle itself doesn't apparently show NOED, but it will show Devour Hope.
Interesting. I could have sworn that the only one that could hide it was Plague, but maybe I could be mistaken.
It might be the fact that the tentacle, like, applying the infection doesn't show it. Maybe if it injures it. It's a really good experiment to try out. That's really interesting. I don't know. But yeah, that... Oh, well, bit of a rough showing, like you said, from Nemesis, but, I mean, to be fair, Trickster, I would say, despite my love for them, it's not a super competitive killer, so they could still possibly win the set if they just juice Trickster. We'll have to see how they play this out here. Thank you. That is a fantastic. You guys don't see it, but that is a fantastic outfit for Trickster. I say that every outfit's fantastic, but besides the point, who's playing Trickster?
So we once again
get to judge very harshly.
Do see Jazzy from Remedy playing the Trickster on the Wrecker's Yard.
All right, show me what you got, Jazzy. I wanna see some phenomenal Trickster play. I'm excited.
I was about to say, don't disappoint the Trickster main himself, littlerugaard.
Give it to me. I mean, to be fair, this map is actually pretty good for Trickster. There are definitely some, like, you got the LT tile, the long one tile. You have those default tiles that you can run to, but same thing as Huntress, there's a lot of open lanes of fire. The only difference is Trickster's cross map is non-existent compared to Huntress. You can get long-range shots, but...
Is there any way you can, like, arc a knife? Is there any way that's possible, or does it just go into infinity?
It's not a straight line. There is a fall off for the knife.
Okay.
So you can kind of arc it, but there's no, like, you can't like, you know, with the Huntress, you can determine via how much you wind up, how much it's going to arc into an area. You can't do that with Trickster. It is a static, velocity, no matter how much you hold it up.
Okay.
So,
okay.
You don't quite get anything like that, but it's still good. Especially for the long range ones, you can arc over some obstacles. It's just not very much. And that being said, Survivor's hitboxes, they're just a little bit taller than the head, so you can get a couple shots if you're shooting from long range. But if you know that a Survivor is behind a tile that you can't even see through from a long range, I'm calling hacks. So
fair. That is fair. Reminds me of the days. Do you remember the days where Huntress could throw over generators and get a hit on Survivor when their hitbox was a little bit taller?
I am so glad they fixed that. That was so unnecessary. So vastly unnecessary. Now, I wish they would fix Survivor hitboxes because it's the same issue now when you're healing. Like, all of a sudden, they just have no hitbox when you're healing. But
that is true. That is true.
I think it's a saying, like, if you play Dead by Daylight, you have to just come to expect hitboxes are always going to be something that's really hit or miss. Like, no pun intended, but it's just built into the game. And I think it's accepted. It's more something that we look at and we're like, that's actually kind of funny at this point.
Yeah,
it's
fair.
One of the things,
that's fair.
It's one of the flaws that we like about Dead by Daylight almost. We don't like it per se, but we're like, okay, yeah, that's
we're tolerant of it.
Yeah, that's a good word. There you go, tolerant. Look at you. You got a better thesaurus than I do.
But yeah, so right. it's gonna be interesting. I mean, we've seen range killers do really well on this map, Huntress, Deathslinger, but I don't think we really have ever seen Trickster come on out. And I think though Trickster doesn't have the same type of lethality that Huntress does with Basement. I think that Trickster will definitely still be able to get a lot of value nonetheless.
I actually completely disagree.
Really?
I think Trickster is incredibly lethal in Basement. I think he's the second best camper in the game besides Bubba.
Okay, so you think better lethality coming out of Basement than Huntress?
I could show you over a dozen clips where they went for a Basement save, and I chewed through both hook states of the unhooker, the borrowed time health state, and the health state after borrowed time, and downed another person that was coming in for body blocks.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have any amount of accuracy with Trickster, your throw rate increase, or especially if you have main event. If you have main event and they go into Basement,
well, yeah,
everybody's dead. It does not matter. Like, it's just, the only difference is, again, if you're looking straight down into Basement and the survivors are running straight at you, you can't hit them because you can't look down at an angle harshly enough. But other than that, as soon as they try to run past you and you just strafe with them, dead. They don't make, like, as soon as they run to the window, bolt animation, dead. They go for the pallet and throw it down, dead. They run through the other exit gate, you walk around the corner, dead. No, Trickster is hyper lethal in basement.
Okay. Yeah. I'll be interested to see, because, like, there's a few scenarios in my head.
If they can execute it.
Yeah, exactly. There's a few scenarios in my head that I'm thinking of, like when I remember Huntress, when they're coming out of the basement. Huntress hits the BT and then grabs them at the window, for example. So it's gonna be interesting to see if Trickster can do something similar.
Yeah, and that's fair. If you have, like, Babushka and Okaf where you're just, like, machine gun Huntress, there is something there. Yeah, sure. You get the hit going down to basement, but bar time, you throw it at them before they hit the window, or as they're hitting the window, or as they hit the vault on the pallet, and then whoever's going for the unhook, you hit them, wind up, and then you run after them, get the down with the M1. Yeah, sure. That is entirely fair, but again, we'll just see how good Jazzy is with Trickster. You can do some absolutely grotesque things with Trickster in the basement. So, and again, this is like after you know scratch marks going into the basement, you follow them in, and you just like kind of walk them out, if you will. So we'll see. I'm curious to see how this goes. There's a lot of fun things here. I completely forgot that the basement play on Wrecker's Yard is a thing.
Oh,
this
yeah.
could actually be super interesting.
I mean,
the thing is, too, we'll see if they can get it down first.
We've seen people bring agitation for basement plays, specifically on Wrecker's Yard. It's the only map that we've seen people do that for, because basement is static. And you can guarantee that's in the middle of the map, and you can still protect gens while they do it.
That's very true. That is entirely true. Especially, yeah, if they you've got a good gen spawn around basement, it could be nasty. And as Chad's pointing out, with Trickster, you can definitely like get one knife away from it, and then just play the M1 game until they go for an unhook. So the next thing too is that you need 5 health states worth of survivors to get your main event ready. So that's 30 knives. You've got like if you go full knife into a survivor, that'll give you 12. You still got to pick up your other 18 knives along the way somewhere. So getting your main event ready, it's probably going to be a second hook scenario. So we'll see how they play. There's a lot of nuance here. I'm excited though. This will be fun. And again, they don't actually have to do a ton. There's 4. It was a 4 out with 4 hook states given.
Yeah. It's not like they have to do too much work here. It's a 4 out, 4 hook states. Actually, 3 hook states given in total. So, because they didn't get the second stage on the basement.
Yeah, that's a good point. Okay. If I say, like, even when I play Trickster, and it was on, Grim Pantry, which is a horrible map for Trickster, I got, 5 hook states? I think Trickster can get 5 hook states on this map easily.
All right, well, we'll have to wait and see. Right now, it is Remedy 19 to We Overslept 8, so if they can come on back, they are not going to be able to win the match point, but they still have that chance of the set point, nonetheless.
We'll see. Jazzy has been a fantastic killer so far, so is that default skin Trickster?
Looks like maybe bloodied. Maybe bloodied. Okay. It's hard to say.
Okay. He found survivors immediately. Holy cow.
Yeah, I mean, this map is pretty small, spawn logic, not as consistent as, like, Gas 7, but still pretty good.
There's a totem in the back there. I wonder what that totem is. Possibly Ruin?
I mean, we did see a Ruin from Jazzy last time, so definitely a real possibility. Once again, very surprised to see Ruin being used.
I agree. Also, me personally, I would break this. Maybe they were trying to position the survivor in a way, but there's no mind games against good survivors on that.
That is fair. And we do see the first hit of knives here, and a bit of a mind game there on the L wall. Good stuff.
True, and Survivor giving into it, but usually Survivors will just start hanging, hugging that corner before then. Are they still at this tile, or did they run?
I think they may have ran. Yeah, it looks like Steve is all the way over there and inviting the Trickster to continue chase, and a nice little cheeky hit over that gen.
Indeed. They're struggling a bit. I notice their add-ons are both throw rate increase, which, I mean, there's a lot of good add-ons you can use here. I do like the throw range increase. That tells me they're definitely going for some, like, you know, flicks around corners and mind games to try and get some 1 or 2 hit there, but you're eventually just going to have to run up into the back of them and just, like, chuck them full of knives. However, he is going to get a lot of knives here when he gets close. Wait, they're going to stick with here? Oh, I was about to say, he didn't run to a tile or anything. Okay. He's going to the corner.
Yeah, I mean,
that is 1 gen down. Okay.
Probably the best case scenario here right now, run to the corner away from basement and just hope that they're not able to get any value out of the hook like a Scourge Hook or Pop.
Right. And the Corrupt Zone is about to be up here. 2 gens popping. Oh, that's a Scourge Hook. Yeah, okay, you're right. That is a Scourge Hook.
However, that gen has a lot of progression, though Ruin is regressing it further.
Ah, Ruin and Scourge Hook. Okay. But I'd say, yeah, if you're taking a Scourge Hook, I'm not actually expecting to see him at any place. He needs to reload really quickly, though.
Yeah,
10 knives is not nearly lethal.
No, it is not a great place to be, and it looks like they will heed your words and reload as we speak.
I guess they were waiting to get a little bit more aggression. Do they have a 3-gen back here? Between that one and the... I don't think they do. A little bit
a
of latency.
loose one, I would say, but a 3-gen, I wouldn't really say right away. It looks like these fires will force out that gen, and Nancy taking chase and
Nancy
will be going down, I think.
Yeah, she's dead here. Wait, how'd she get so much? Oh, that's Overcome. Nancy has Overcome. That's why she got so much damage. Good reload here. Good call. Yeah, and that's exactly what he did. The exact right thing. Even though Nancy was in his face and he could have got an M1 there, you take the M2 knife injure, and then you're still throwing knives as they run away, and you can just like one of the most lethal killers if you can't block line of sight. You just down people so quickly. You don't have an instant down, but it doesn't matter. You're gonna get them out about the same amount of time.
Indeed, indeed, and we do see the hook over in the corner, probably trying to go for a Scourge Hook, maybe, be my only thought. But we did not see a single gen pop, suggesting either no progress on gens, or they just didn't hit a Scourge Hook.
That would be the saying. There was somebody on that generator, but I'm guessing it didn't have enough. I don't know. Ooh, good hits on the ace there. But I say he struggled with a little bit of accuracy in the beginning of this game, but he's definitely hitting some of these more. Oh, so close. He's definitely hitting these more now.
Yeah, definitely maybe need a bit of a warm-up, to say the least, but unfortunately this ace will make enough distance to where I don't think they are going to take this health state, at least not right away.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue, and like, so one of the major how-to videos on Trickster is from Dylan KG, and they mentioned you can do these mind games at LT walls and windows at Shack, but the problem is that once you get to high MMR, or in this case comp, you just sit at the corner, you wait for Trickster to make the move. They're a 110 kill. You have a lot of reaction time. You don't need to play the mind game with them. And that's the thing we're seeing, is that survivors aren't giving into the mind games of Trickster.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that's something that you just have to expect at comp level, like you said, yep. And unfortunately, Jazzy here just not willing to change their playstyle, and we see just a loss of value. I think there's a very real possibility that unless they get some late game downs, the survivors might be able to flip this set on its head.
That's a very possible thing here. We've seen 2 hook states so far, and survivors otherwise have been like, we'll stick far away, we're fine. And I'm actually surprised Ruin is up, because we know for a fact he's chased into the Ruin zone, so he knows where Ruin is. Main event is up. I don't think you use it here. This tile is pretty safe from Trickster over the top. You can't get line of sight here.
You can on this side here, so I'd say this would be a great time, and we do see that down.
Okay, I thought the rock on the other side was taller. Okay, yeah, that is actually really bad. That's a really bad rock to be at. You can see so much. Oh my goodness, they got 4 gens done, though. This Trickster needs to just camp this kill, I think. But his main event's about to go out.
Yeah, I was hoping that they're going to go to that closer hook and then from there activate their main event, but they opted to go for the Scourge Hook instead. We do see it pop off that regressing gen.
Mm-hmm. And after this reload here, oh, they went straight for the... That is the smartest thing you could do right there, is get it before Trickster gets back so he can't camp this hook. However, I think it might be too little too late. I think this ace might be dead here. Oh, he's in the dead zone, yeah. Ace is, yeah. Ace is just dead meat. That's where those 2 add-ons come into such a clutch right there. With it, I believe it increases your throw rate by 3 knives total with the 2 add-ons. You're almost at full speed within a second. And at that point, yeah, just look how fast they whittle through that hell state of Ace right there. Yeah. Really good Trickster play. I think they played into the mind games a little bit, but once they realized that the survivors aren't going to play into the mind games, you just zone them out to the unsafe areas. And to the survivors' deficit, they've been going to some dead zones. Granted, like, there's only so many tiles you can like work here, but they've ran to some dead zones that have not been good for them. And now Ace is fresh here. If he progresses a second, that's GG, right? If they get all 4 man's escape.
Yeah, that would be accurate. So now it just comes down to whether or not they're able to get the ace, or even any gen at this point. This hook is right next to the rune as well. And all these gens are pretty much dead in the water at this point in time, so I don't think these survivors are going to even be able to get one of these 3 gens out while the ace is on hook.
That's very true. And I'm noticing that he's getting a couple of hits here and there. These survivors do need to be... Oh, that deliverance. That was so good. That was actually pretty clutch. However, if he can make it to this, they need to start throwing knives now. If they get around this, it's a really safe loop. Oh, Ace ran the wrong way. He needed to run around this area. He could go down here still. But if he has DS, he might be able to make it out. Oh, this is risky. It all depends on what perks his Ace has. If the Ace has Deliverance and Decisive, they might be okay. If he doesn't have Decisive here, they might be in a bit of trouble. Because now, yeah, see, right away, though, you as a survivor, you work that loop. That loop is absolutely awful for Trickster. Okay, they got the last gen done, so that was a good, good, bait and switch there. But if he doesn't have DS or he doesn't get picked up here, the survivors, they still technically lose the set.
Yeah, I mean, they at the very least need a Unbreakable, I think, which definitely is run with Deliverance as well. But we do see that haste status effect on the Trickster, and there is the Noed.
Yep. Yeah, as soon as that Nancy double back, I'm like, oh no, you're dead now, honey. He's leaving him slugged though. He's going to go pick up the ace. Oh, he might be thirsty for a 2 or 3K here.
Yeah, okay. They're not willing to give up that many survivors, it would seem, as we do see the exit get over there, 99. And these survivors desperately trying to get them back up, but I don't think it's going to be all too easy, if at all possible.
Right, yeah. Ace would have used Unbreakable by now. Nancy, she could have Unbreakable, but I think you'd have used it in the next couple seconds or already, and we haven't seen that. They're baiting around, but I guess they realize if they don't get the 4 out, they lose, and so they are going to... I guess at this point, you might as well throw everything you can at forcing the 4-man escape.
Yeah.
I guess I respect that, actually.
There definitely is no downside in this instance. We do see the first main event of the game, but Trickster losing sight of where the Thingman went, and I think they're throwing at the air at this point.
I agree. However, she's still in not... Oh, they do get the Noed, though. And they're going to leave in the back. That's a live play. Good hits on the way out, though. Good accuracy there. But they... Oh, wait, hold on. Is this other exit gate open? He has 28 knives. He has enough to get a survivor down. There are a lot of injured survivors here. They can't take hits.
But Steve's going to take those body blocks.
Did they get the 4-man escape?
Oh! Oh, wow.
They got the 4-man escape. It paid off. Oh, my word. I think you should have just gone and hooked the Steve or the Nancy once they got the down.
So let's see. We see right now 11 points for Remedy's Trickster. And we are going to get the final calculation on the points for the Survivor team. But this is going to be a very, very close set, to say the least.
Yeah, it is. I think you should have taken the hook on the Stevie. I think you got a bit greedy. And to be fair, the survivors were in full greed mode, but they knew it because if they didn't get the 4-man out, it was like they were not going to get it. So props to the survivors for a really helter-skelter comeback there, but I think they should have hooked the Nancy.
Yeah. So we'll find out in just a moment how many points that will end up being. And we'll wait for the tabulation, but it looks like at the very least there's 3 additional points for the Trickster in comparison to the Nemesis round, as they got
4 people.
They hooked 4 people. 2 of them were fresh. So in that case, I think that'll be at 3 more points than what they needed. And so that will result in Remedy with 30 points to We Overslept 26 for set number 2. So very, very close to say the least.
Very close. That's insane. I mean, I will say the Trickster play started out a bit rusty. They were missing a lot of knives, but as the game progressed, it seems like they kind of warmed up a bit. I feel that all the time when I play Tricksters. The first 2 games are always a warm-up game, and then you just start nailing those shots. They had some fantastic shots. And most of the survivors knew, it seemed like, where the rocks were that they could dodge line of sight or where they could loop around safely because it's 110 or whatnot. Survivors played around Trickster, I'd say, very well for the most part, especially at those LT walls where they just didn't give him anything. They just stayed at that corner by the windows like, all right, I know you got to make the move first. I'm just going to sit here and see where your red stain goes. So, really good play. I mean, from a Trickster perspective, I think they did a lot of things right. The main event usage was a bit, to be fair, there wasn't a lot of places they could have used main event properly. I would say if they could have held out the main event for the end, it would have been great, but they only had, like, again, main event having only 30 seconds to be used is rough, but regardless, they did enough to win the set, so GG's, congratulations to Remedy there.
Indeed. So GG, well played to both teams, and congratulations to Remedy for the win. But with that being said, that actually will be our only match streamed for today. Had a lot of reschedules this Sunday, so unfortunate. But we will be back next Saturday at 12 p.m. CST for some more competitive Dead by Daylight. But before we go, Rue, if everyone want to go say hi next time you are live, where would they find you?
Wherever we raid out to, because I'm going to go live and I'm going to play more Trickster. So I'm twitch.tv/littlerugaard. And we're just going to throw knives the rest of the day. So I feel like this is a perfect segue. Like, I saw a Trickster game in comp, and I got to go throw knives myself. I'm pretty happy about this.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And with that being said, I am your Commissioner Giltspire. I'm an educational Dead by Daylight player here to teach codes how to play Killer and survivors how to play against Killer. I'll be live tomorrow at 7 p.m. CST for some more Dead by Daylight. With that being said, guys, make sure to stick on through the raid so we can show some love to our lovely host, littlerugaard.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And yeah, we'll be back next weekend with more games. Hopefully more than 5, but we'll see. Hopefully we get less rescheduled. We get more games. I want to see some more action. I feel like a little bit lost out this Sunday. I want more.
Well, on that note, we'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.